Hey, what's up? What's good? It's Carson Sinclair, and I'm back with another lituation of the day. Game. Anyway, so today I thought I'd just talk about spirituality and what it means to me. This video is not for everybody, but I don't know. It's just what I want to talk about today. And I see I don't got no hat on, so don't make fun of my little Twizzlers. So one thing that I find interesting about spiritual journeys, if you've ever had one or you're in the midst of one, is you don't know you're in it until you're already in it. Things will happen in your life. This is true for most people. Like I said, this is not for everybody, but things happen in your life that will just slowly set the course to you finding yourself. And before you know it, all of a sudden you're on your spiritual journey. Things had happened in my past. I'm not gonna go into detail about that. That's for a whole different video. But and when I had hit my end, pretty much, when I had hit my end, all of a sudden, it's my whole soul just switched flows. It was all right, you learned your lesson. Now let's get to the positive stuff. It was pretty much all right, life literally just slapped me in the face and then was here's a lollipop. like at the doctor's office when they give you a shot and they give you a piece of candy after. I was just so confused, and then that's how it pretty much started, just confusion and just wanting to know more than just being just looking into other stuff. And one thing that's my motto is that even though I'm going through this process, I make sure that I find out what's most relevant to me, because the problem is everyone wants to tell you oh, this is how you do things, this is how you don't do things. I encourage everyone to look inside themselves, yes, but you gotta follow your own. No one has lived the same life that you have lived. All right, that's basic knowledge. Everyone's life is different, so therefore everyone's path is going to be different. And also so therefore when you're going down a journey of finding yourself, it's not going to be the same as everyone else's. Yeah, there's general stuff, opening up your mind, being able to have full conversations and things like that. Those are general things, though. That's stuff that you just should be doing anyway, spiritual or not. But for me, it started as just me asking myself questions. At first it was who am I? But then my questions evolved to who do I want to be? And by asking myself these simple questions, it helped me make better choices. I'll just say it like that. That's not really how I want to say it, but I'll say it like that. It helped me make better choices in life that would take me down different paths, but paths that I felt were actually meant for me. Unlike before, where I would just go wherever, I was just going wherever. I would see something ooh, let me have that. And it wasn't taking me anywhere good. It was just leading me deeper and deeper into a ditch, pretty much. I was just digging my own grave at that point. Just going wherever, oh, okay. No, don't do that, all right? When you ask yourself who do you want to be, therefore you set a guideline for the things that you will accept in life, if that makes sense. So yeah, for me it just started off as me just asking myself, who do I want to be? Who am I aspiring to be? And therefore it led me to so many different places, but so many better places. I still was making decisions that necessarily didn't align with each other, but I wasn't making decisions that were going to be detrimental to my mental health and my physical safety and things like that. I was more making stuff that just gather, I was doing things that would help me gather little bits and pieces of knowledge that who knows if I'll actually use, but I mean, they were helping me on the inside feel better about myself, so therefore they're beneficial to me. So yeah, and then obviously everyone's always done zodiac things. I've been pretty hyped about my zodiac sign for a while. That's like nothing new to me. Like, I love being a Taurus. I feel like, you know, we get a lot of shit apparently. Like, I didn't know people didn't like Taurus, but apparently Tauruses are not on people's top lists. But I feel like we're super loyal and down to the bone, and like I feel like I have a lot of attributes of a Taurus, you know. So therefore, like, I've always been down with like astrology a little bit, but I was never really that deep into it, you know. I never had a horoscope app until recently, like, you know. So I was starting to look a little bit more into that. Not necessarily like, and I think this is the common misconception, like, spirituality is not religion. Those two can be intertwined. Like, you know, you can be religious and have a spiritual self, but they're not necessarily the same thing, like, if that makes sense. For me, religion is like an organized movement. Like, when you're religious, you're part of an organized, like, kind of thing. Like, you know, I know a lot of people would be mad if people were watching this, but honestly, religion to me is like a cult, but a cult that's acceptable in society, pretty much. Like, you know, and ain't nobody drinking the Kool-Aid, they just drinking that mouth vomit, really. But I personally believe, like, people can guide you, but no one can tell me what I need to do to be closer to God. Like, you know, that is for me to decide, and me only. And I have just recently come to the fact that yes, I do believe in God, but it's not like in the traditional sense by any means. Like, you know, it's really not. And most of that comes from, when I was growing up, I was really raised like in the church, like hardcore. Like, my mom is a minister. So I was there, hardcore. And it honestly turned me away from a lot of things about religion. And at some point in life, like, I didn't even really think God was real. Which, that's just how it is. Like, you know, it was like, I just saw a butterfly. It was a big butterfly too. It's pretty. But that's also besides the point. So, yeah. So my spiritual journey, it kind of went like astrology, you know, a little bit. Like, and this is the thing, like, I never go too deep in things. I kind of just skim over them because, you know, right now I'm still figuring out. Like, anyone who says, oh yeah, I had my spiritual journey a year ago and it's like 24, that's a lie. Okay, it's an ongoing process. I feel like as humans, we're constantly evolving. So I honestly feel like you're never out of your spiritual journey. You're just in different levels of it. So, you know, I'm not necessarily at the bottom level, but I'm nowhere near the top just yet. So I just be dabbling and stuff. Like, I skim over things like astrology. I recently, like 2 nights ago, just looked up numerology and like got my life path number and things like that. And, you know, this is the problem with like stuff like this. Like, people be like so quick to down it, but sometimes that stuff is so scary accurate. It's just like, wow, like, are you sure, like, you didn't just like like, are you stalking me or something? Like, you be like wondering, because it's just like how can something be so accurate to your life? And like, yeah, it's general, but you know what it means to you. Like, when you read it, you're like, wow. And then you think about like how it is based to your life, and it's like, it's I definitely say check it out. I just say, you know, like, obviously, like, I check multiple sites. Don't just do like a couple, and, you know, read books about it and stuff too. Like, you know, like, that's the problem. Like, people will go to one site and be like, oh my god, it was so accurate, but you never know, like, on another site could say something completely different. So that's why I say, you know, just check your facts, you know. I wouldn't say I'm super big into crystals. I do have crystals, but I don't use them for like the purposes that a lot of people use them for. There's only one that I wear around my neck constantly, and that's just it's not even really because the crystal, like, it's the crystal too, because it's obsidian and like it's supposed to be like a protection crystal, but it's also because of how I came to obtain that necklace. That's why it also means a lot to me. It's not necessarily have anything to do with the crystal itself. Let me just put that out there. But I do have crystals. I actually went to like a gem farm and like we dug up gems and stuff. So I have like some actually really cool stuff that I need to get cleaned up and shaped up so, you know, it can be better. But I honestly use those just to look at. Hey, we're being honest, you know, like I use that stuff to look at, like, but I think it's really important. Like, there's like, for me, it's three things. Like when they say mind, body, and soul, my mind, that is me, that's knowledge, you know. That's when I read and stuff, I'm feeding my mind. When I look at stuff, I'm feeding my mind. Now it's up to you whether you're feeding your mind positive or negative things. And then your body, that's kind of self-explanatory. Drinking water, exercising. I really don't exercise that much, but that's because I'm on like a it's a slow climb to the top, you know. It's a slow climb to the top. I plan on it, but it's a slow climb. So like, but drinking water, eating a little bit better, you know, just treating your body with respect generally all around. Like even if you're not eating right and exercising, when you look at yourself in the mirror and you treat your body with respect, that is helping you further your body on a spiritual level, you know. And your soul, to me, your soul represents creativity. Like your soul is the essence of you, and when you create things, that is also a part of your essence. Like, you know, like that comes from you, so therefore that comes from your soul. And I've been trying to practice this in multiple ways. You know, my problem is I just get very easily distracted. It's just how I am. It's how I always been. Like I like to move from one thing to the next. That's why I call myself jack of all trades, master of none, because I will be able to do it and then I'll just go on to the next thing. But I'm teaching myself how to break out of that habit, because that's a very bad habit. Like I need to be able to stick with something. But you know, I used to write a lot when I was younger. I even used to draw some. I wasn't like the best drawer, but like, you know, every now and then I could spit something really good out and it'd be like, wow, you drew that? Yeah, I can't believe it either. Like, you know, I used to write a lot of poetry. I actually lost my journal. It's very sad, but honestly, there was a lot of like creepy negative stuff in there, so like, and it's probably for the best. And I got a new journal, so now I don't really write poetry in that. I just write my thoughts and my feelings, like, you know, just to get them out my mind and on the paper, so I'm not up all night, which so far has not helped, but I do like writing. So yeah. And then also I'm gonna try to start dabbling in music. I don't know how this is gonna go per se. It's the beginning though, so I can't really tell you yet, but I'm trying my best. So yeah, like this really didn't talk about much of anything at all, but I just came in here to talk. And I just want to say, like, you know, peace and prosperity in all things. And like really when it comes down to it, the most spiritual thing you can do is just spread love to others and make sure your light is shining on everybody. Like, you know, like you got to make sure that when people see you, like, and when you interact with others, like you are spreading light and love, like light and love, like light and love, you know, like that's all I can really say about that. Like I am truly becoming like a light worker, and I have been discovering my gifts and the things that I would like to do for my community and my society. And I definitely noticed that it's a lot better when I am at my peak to be able to spread light and love to everyone else, because, you know, it's hard out here. Everyone's always complaining and stuff. I know that's like the biggest problem. Everyone always complains, but you know, you just got to push through, and whatever you know in your heart of hearts is best to do that, you know. But definitely stop with the hate, spread more love, you know, more happy love. All right, well, I love you all. Stay conscious, stay consistent, have fun, be safe, and always stay lit.